Hollywood, 1952. The city was a dream factory, but its hallways were paved with secrets. I was Clara, a journalist with more ambition than good sense, trying to carve out my name in an industry run by men. My big break arrived in the form of an expensive envelope, bearing the crest of Majestic Picture Studios. The mission? To write a profile on Ava Monroe, the biggest star in cinema, a blonde angel whose on-screen glamour was as famous as her mysterious isolation off-screen. The studio wanted a charming story, a fairy tale for the magazines that would reinforce her image as an untouchable goddess. But I, who could read the truth in silences, knew the real story was in the shadows that the spotlight's glare tried to hide. Ava received me in her Beverly Hills mansion, a golden cage where every object seemed positioned for a photograph. She was even more stunning in person, a vision in silken diamonds.
I managed to convince her, or perhaps her loneliness convinced her, to meet in secret, away from the ears of the studio, away from the eyes of her agent. Our meetings took place in forgotten places, a small, dusty bookstore in Pasadena, a discreet cafe near the beach at dawn. And in those stolen moments, the movie star vanished, and the real Ava emerged. She was brilliant, with a sarcastic wit and a mind as sharp as my own. We talked about poetry, about politics, about the dreams we had sacrificed. She confessed how suffocating it was to live under constant scrutiny, to be a product instead of a person. I, in turn, told her of my struggle to be taken seriously, of the fire in me to tell stories that mattered. With every conversation, the line between journalist and subject, between observer and participant, began to blur. I discovered we shared the same hunger for authenticity in a world made of plastic. The admiration I felt for her intelligence began to transform into something deeper, something that scared and attracted me in equal measure. The way she laughed, the spark in her eyes when she spoke of a book she loved, her vulnerability. I was falling in love with her. One evening, we were in my modest apartment, listening to jazz records as the rain tapped against the window. She was relaxed, barefoot, her platinum hair free from its perfect updos. We were talking about Paris, a city we both dreamed of seeing. "One day," she said, her voice a whisper, "I'm just going to disappear. And I'll go there. I'll sit in a cafe and just watch people. Be anonymous." She looked at me, her eyes searching for something in mine. "Would you come with me?" The question hung in the air, heavy with a weight that went far beyond a simple trip. In that moment, the world outside, with its rules and its dangers, ceased to exist. There was only the silent truth between us. Her eyes. Her eyes were sad and guarded. Our first conversation was a rehearsed game. She answered my questions with the perfect polished phrases the studio had taught her, smiling at all the right moments. It was a performance, and we both knew it. I wanted to scream, "Who are you really?" But instead, I did the only thing I could. I subtly deviated from the script. "What was the last book that made you forget who you were?" I asked. For the first time, I saw a flicker of genuine surprise in her eyes. The mask wavered. It was in that moment I knew the only way to get my story was by breaking the rules, by finding the truth she was forced to conceal. It's a feeling many of us know, isn't it? That feeling that you have to hide a part of yourself just to be accepted, or that you found a love the world wouldn't understand. If you've ever lived a story like that, I hope you'll subscribe and share your own experience in the comments below so we can all know we're not alone. My answer didn't come in words. I leaned in and kissed her. It was a kiss that carried weeks of unspoken conversations, of lingering glances. It was tender, hesitant, and at the same time, the most right thing I had ever done in my life. Our love blossomed in secret. a precious and dangerous affair. Our meetings became the center of our universe. To the world, I was the journalist working on a story, and she was the unattainable star. But in our moments, we were just Clara and Ava. However, reality was a constant shadow. My editor began to pressure me for the story, and the studio grew suspicious of the time we were spending together. We knew we were playing with fire. The danger became real when the head of the studio, a cruel man named Mr. Blackwood, summoned me to his office. "Your article is taking a while, miss," he said, his cold eyes piercing through me. "And I'm hearing rumors that could ruin the career of our most valuable star." The threat was clear. He knew, or at least suspected. "The public wants a goddess, not a deviant," he hissed. "Finish your article, the one we approved, or I will guarantee that neither you nor she will ever work in this town again." I left his office with my blood running cold. Our love wasn't just forbidden. It was a weapon that could be used to destroy us. That night, I told Ava. I saw the fear in her eyes, but I also saw a fierce determination. "I don't care about the career, Clara," she said. "I care about you." But I cared. How could I be the cause of her ruin? How could our love be the thing that destroyed the woman I loved? We were caught in an impossible trap. I faced an excruciating dilemma. To write the shallow story the studio wanted would mean betraying the woman I loved and my own integrity. To write the truth would mean destroying Ava's career and exposing our love to a world that would crucify it. There was a third option: to write nothing, to disappear. But Blackwood wouldn't let us go peacefully. He would invent an even worse scandal to punish us. It was Ava who found the solution. A solution that was bold, dangerous, and brilliant. "You're not going to write my story," she said, her eyes shining with a new strength. "We are going to write it together. But it won't be an article. It will be a screenplay." We spent the next few weeks working feverishly in secret. We wrote the story of two women, a movie star trapped in a golden cage and a journalist who gave her the key, who find love against all odds. It wasn't our exact story, but its soul was there. It was a universal love story, disguised under the conventions of Hollywood. We submitted the script to an independent producer, a rival of Blackwood's. He loved it. The film was made with Ava giving the performance of her life. It was a resounding success, acclaimed for its courage and emotional depth. No one suspected the truth behind it. The article I was supposed to write was never published. I left journalism and became a screenwriter. Years later, Ava and I were sitting at a cafe in Paris watching the people go by. She had left Hollywood at the height of her fame, just as she had promised. We were anonymous, free. We hadn't run away. We had rewritten our story, and in the process, we had found a way to live our love, not in the shadows, but in the soft light of a Parisian afternoon. Our love wasn't a scandal. It was our masterpiece.